What's up? It's time again, boys. It's Friday Night Frontline with your host, the Ernizzle. Today, we got so much to cover, dudes. I don't know if we're going to get through it all. I'm going to try and not go over. Well, I'm going to cut the stream off no matter what if we hit the 2-hour mark. That's just like my hard. All right, we've talked enough at that point. But we might go up to 2 hours again. We did it last week, and we have so much to cover, so I want to talk about news. We got to gamble. We got, like, new game modes. We have to try and redeem ourselves from last week from the sandbag. Let me adjust this microphone real quick. Hopefully that's a little better and not so ridiculous, so. I don't know if we're early radically, but we're right on time. That's for sure. So let's just go, dude. It has been a wild week, man. It has been. So, does anyone in here play at GFL1? Am I the only person, and probably guess Project NeuroCloud to another extent, but I think I might be the only person who plays original GFL. But if you do, we finished up the last, I use that in quotations, event of the game, story event of the game, that's supposed to lead into like the beginning of this game. Oh my god, dude. It was okay, I am known, I like to see myself as Mika Team's strongest soldier, but oh my god, even I could not handle what that event was. That was so bad, dude. Like, it was so bad. I don't wanna get too off topic with this, but I said, if anyone else plays GFL1, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, because man, the way they ended the first game, because like I said, it's supposed to be the event that leads into this, right? So at the beginning of GFL2 here, you know how it opens up with the like the sequence where he's like, I guess, on the phone with a mysterious individual. Well, that guy's supposed to be the guy Griffin from Griffin and Kruger. And he's like one of the big shadow men that likes to be. He's like one of the Illuminati, essentially. And that's how the game starts, right? You get that whole sequence where he's like, "I'm out, Chief. I ain't playing your games anymore. I'm taking the Elmo and I'm leaving." And that's like what starts into this game, right? Then you go off into the desert, into the desert for 40 years and 40 nights. For 10 years, you go off into the yellow zone and just be a bounty hunter. But like the way they wrapped up the first game was just such a. It wasn't even the fact that it was like. It was just like the way they presented it was horrible. It wasn't like the main ideas were bad. There were some really crappy main ideas, but like the way they presented it was horrible. Like there was like no build up. It's just, oh man, dude, it was bad. Yeah, Shadow Striker is a convolution kernel, more like controversial kernel, if you ask me, because that was something, man. That was something. Well, he says he tried both. PNC was interesting for about 3 months. PNC, like this is the part that's so weird to me. PNC, I know you haven't got this far, Willie, but like had a complete story and had like what I consider a satisfactory end, right? Like it had a good ending event in that kind of like wrapped up the main story of PNC and pretty much said like, hey, see you guys in the future, which as we know now was going to be GFL2. So that one ended fine, and it's so weird to me that like they wrote PNC's story and it was good, and then they wrote this even afterwards from writing the PNC story. It's horrible. Just it was bad, really bad. Also, we have to change our background here. Well, we haven't gambled yet. We don't change it, but I found out that they added more sounds, or there's different like music tracks here, right? These are the ones we were looking at last week. Did you guys know this? I didn't freaking know this until someone told me. There's different ones. There's all these different albums that you can pick from. I didn't know about any of these. Look at this. You want some original GFL soundtrack stuff? This is how you get the nostalgia going. No PNC though, weirdly enough, but I don't know. I think one of these is like the events from this game, right? So I think it's Yeah, this is like Diane's theme, I think. Oh yeah, dude. I don't know what pink lamplight is. I don't know what the fuck this is. Was this Jiawei's event? I'm not sure, but I know whose event this is, and this is the one I'm gonna leave it on. I can't believe you guys didn't tell me that week, or that last week. I was like looking through them all. You could have told me there was like 6 more pages to choose from. Yeah, Paul, so yeah, that's part of the reason why they're... So I said in quotations earlier because Convolution Kernel was supposed to be the last event, but I'm obviously not the only one who felt like it was garbage because they decided they're going to do like 2 more mini events after it. But to be honest, dude, the damage has been done in my eyes. It's like they made some really weird story decisions, which was not great. I mean, the event itself was stupid. Okay, so spoilers for anybody who wants to play it, although I don't know why you'd want to play this event because it was just not very good. But if you are interested in the main overall GFL1 storyline or whatever, mute yourself and come back when I go to the gambling screen here. But the story ended with like this like big climactic showdown in the city of Frankfurt, which in this timeline is now the new capital of Germany. So in the GFL's world, it gets moved to Germany for reasons. So anyway, you're in the main city of Frankfurt for the finale, and it wasn't even like the setup and stuff. It was just like the way they started resolving the big things, because like you have big characters like M4A1, who is the poster girl of the game, and everyone's like trying to figure out like what are they gonna do with her story, right? Because she's like hinted at being in this. Well, this is why it gets so weird, right? Dandelion is in this game, right? You know her. She's the one that hides inside the diner gate here. She's in this game. They took a really goofy approach where, see, this is like a rabbit hole. I don't even want to try and go down it because trying to like explain this to people who are like not deep in the story is very confusing. But long story short, the way they resolved like what happens to certain characters was just like they just like walked them off screen. So for example, the resolution to, so there's like a big showdown, right? Like it's like, okay, gather up the troops, we're gonna go on one last big hurrah and we're gonna like fight the big bad guy, right? Well, you get to the quote big bad guy, which is like it's like, I mean, spoilers, it's like M4's like merge consciousness with like 3 other individuals. And anyway, the way they resolve that like part of the story is just like they hand wave it. Like you show up, you've got all your special forces units, right? Like I don't have any in this game, right? Like, well, I guess you have, well, you have the rest of 404 squad, which is not there anymore, and we don't have any of those units. Go figure. But for example, UMP-45's there, DeFi squad's there, the rest of AR team's there. Well, funny, we don't have any of those units. And then she just like waves her hand and uses like, I guess, magic and shuts everybody down so you can have like a one-on-one conversation with her, where then she goes into this like really weird like boss monologue about alternate timelines and other bullshit. And then it just ends. I kid you not, the way they end it is just like literally they're like, and you and the commander walk off into the night and everyone lives happily ever after. Right? That's essentially what they did. Like you exit the stage with her, and she like monologues about making the right choice and all this nonsense, and then she just, I'm paraphrasing, but then there's like a fake car accident essentially, but it's in a tank. There's a fake traffic accident with a tank where they find supposedly Dandelion, which is at this point M4's body, and then they're just like, that's it. That's the ending of the first game. Well, it's like, but it's not true. Oh, they say the commander died, but obviously that's not true because, you're playing the commander in the second game, and obviously Dandelion didn't die because he's in the second game. So I don't know what the fuck they're right. There were so many other nitpicks, like side characters just showed up just to get completely forgotten. People would like, they spent the entire first half of the event literally doing nothing, right? Like you're running around like helping hostages and stuff. Not hostages, but like helping the civilians to try and like really personify the fact that you're supposed to be a good neutral party in the whole conflict. It's a disaster, dude. Oh man. Oh, see, Shadow, you should have said something, dude. You let me sit here and not know about the music the whole time. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, Paul, they're gonna have to fix it again in the follow-up events, but man, I don't know how you fix it, because the damage has been done, right? Like, either you have to go back and, like, rewrite parts of it, but you can't, though, right? Like for me, the big question mark is, like, okay, well, what happens to factions like D5, 404, and all the other, because they give you a really asinine reason why all your friends from Griffin and Kruger, which would be, like, pretty much all the old dolls, you know, like Macchiato, you know, all the returning units from the first game. They try and, not you already, but they try and, like, kind of hand wave that by, like, oh, well, because the commander's going rogue, which is, like, kind of iffy, they're gonna shut down all your stuff. They're taking away all your toys. So they shut down the Elmo, and they they just make something up out of nowhere. I guess there's, like, a kill switch for all of your T-Dolls, and they just, like, send out the kill switch to your units. So it's like, but one of your guys helps you out, and he's like, oh, bro, I'm going to delay it for, like, whatever, 8 hours. So you got 8 hours to finish your business before everybody gets shut down. But it's like, there's, like I said, for all the units that were not part of that, like I said, Squad 404, for example, they're kind of like autonomous individuals, right? They don't have a kill switch. And so, like, I was, like, waiting to see what they were going to do with the story for them. Like, why did they just disappear for 10 years? And the answer we got was no answer. They all got to the final big battle. Dandelion / M4 / Anastia / whoever else's consciousness is in that body just waves her hand. Everybody just goes to sleep except the commander, and then they just literally do not talk about him. Like, that's how they resolve the issue, is just like, oh, everyone falls asleep. It's just you and her talking, and then they just never explain what happens after that. Yeah, I'm not even worried about the timeline stuff, Paul. So, Paul's referring to the part where, so in a previous event called Cartesian Theater, they introduced this, like, really goofy idea of, like, alternate timelines. You know, very typical sci-fi theme of, like, you know, different timelines and, like, you know, what happens affects each one. I'm not even upset about that. That was goofy. I didn't like it, and it caused a lot of unnecessary confusion, because essentially the end result of it was, like, nothing. But to be honest, like, it was how they handled the rest of the event. Because Paul says that the, you know, going through time and different timelines is established in the GFL lore, specifically in Bakery Girl, which is, like, the game that comes way after all this. It's called Reverse Collapse. Codename Bakery Girl is the name. It's on Steam. I think came out last year. And that one talks about, like, alternate timelines and stuff, which is, I guess, fine for that game if they want to use that as, I think it was like a game mechanic. I didn't play it, so, you know, don't quote me on this, but it was like a game mechanic in that where, you know, essentially you could, like a choose your own adventure, like, okay, what happens if we do this? And then you get to see the results of that, which is great for like storytelling in that type of game, especially a game where you want people to go back and redo stages and, like, pick alternate routes, for example. You know, like, what if I hurt this person, or what if I saved that person? But in a story like GFL's #1's main story, it's like you can't really do that, so it gets really goofy. Yeah, I know, Paul says the Reverse Collapse is goated and everyone should play it. It's been on my to-do list for a long time. I just keep finding other reasons not to do it. Even Woolie's vouching for it. I'll have to put that on my to-do list, like at the top of the to-do list. But anyway, so I know some of the stuff, and, like, for example, some of the NPCs are still around in Reverse Collapse, so I kind of knew what was going to happen with them. Although, so once again, spoilers for Reverse Collapse a little bit. Cover your ears. There's a character named William, but at the end of this event, so I knew they couldn't kill him, right? In fact, I think he's in even GFL2. They mentioned him a bunch here in GFL2. They couldn't kill him because I knew he's in Reverse Collapse, so it's like, okay, well, I know this character's not going to die. But then they just kind of, like, out of nowhere decide, oh, Oh, William's not his name. That's just a code word for the guy in charge. It could be anybody. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you think this is a good story writing? Like, oh. Because, by the way, I think it is the same person between GFL 1, 2, and 3 and Reverse Collapse. I think it actually is the same individual person, but then obviously the timeline doesn't match up because who was William pre-GFL 1, and they're just like, ah, just kidding, bro. It's a code name. Everybody's William. You're a William. I'm a William. We're all Williams. Oh, man. It was just, oh. Yeah, Paul says, so, he says, one of the reasons Reverse Collapse is so good is because it's a story thing, playing out the horror of constantly failing regardless of what you try. Yeah, there's a lot of really popular shows, even animes and other types of games that kind of like, you're trying to find for example, PNC did this exact same thing with Steins Gate. They had a collaboration with Steins Gate recently, and the PNC collab event was all about the Steins Gate characters kind of like showing up in their world line, and then them trying to fix things but constantly messing it up. And so you go through all these different possible futures, and he keeps rewinding time to try and fix it, and he just can't fix it, the main character. And yeah, it's funny too, because every time they think they fix it, it actually gets worse and worse and worse, and it gets actually soul-crushingly bad, like for what happens to a lot of people. And then finally, like, then you have that triumphant moment kind of at the end of the collab where it's like, well, they finally figure out what was going wrong, and they finally fix that one part, which undoes all the other bad things, and then, you know, you get the happy ending. But it's quite the adventure. Yeah, Shadow, so I think Reverse Collapse would be on Steam. I mean, I'm sure you could get it other ways, but I'm pretty sure the primary method is Steam. I don't know if you can get it, like, directly from Mika or any other, like, provider. And then Willie says it shows that Mika knows how to make a good game and write an excellent story, which makes GFL depressing for me. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Willie. It's like, see, Project Neurocloud, same thing. They showed you they can make a good story, but GFL2's story has been treading water forever and kind of not doing anything, which, like I had mentioned before, is supposedly going to pick up here in the next big event. And then, like I said, mostly this GFL1 event was just like, I was just so, like, my jaw dropped how bad it was, like how bad the writing was. I just couldn't get over it, dude. I was just like in shock, because I'm like, this is the same company that wrote like Mirror Stage and stuff. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Okay, that's enough of that. Wow, I just spent like 20 minutes talking about that. Oh no, we didn't miss no slurs yet, dog. I didn't even get to gambling. A minute. Hold up. Let's next thing I want to talk about. Jeez, I'm just talking and not gambling. Do you guys want to take a gambling break before we go on to news? I want to talk about news here. Specifically upcoming CN news, which the reason I started covering this stuff now is because the gap between us is getting shorter and shorter. And to be honest, I expect acceleration will continue until morale improves. And also, they might switch some of these character releases up. So we might be getting some of these characters like right after the next banner. Who knows? So I want to keep everyone up to date. So yeah, I want give me the votes. You guys want the gambling now? Because I don't want to blue balls you, even though I've done it for 20 minutes. You know what? Yeah, let's do the gambling now. And then we'll do gambling now. Let's hide this for a minute. We'll talk about the upcoming character, and then we'll then the people who don't want to watch or don't want to listen to me yap, they can go do other stuff. Okay, so Jang Yu. I don't know if we're gonna do weapon today. We're gonna see how this goes. And yeah, I think we're only gonna go for segment 0, because if you watched my little preview guide, the breakpoints for her, in my opinion, are segment 2 and segment 6. I'm not going to segment 6, and segment 2 is a little deep. It would make the rotation a lot less cancer, but you know, I'm just gonna have to suffer through it. Oh my god. I don't want anyone to have a heart attack. All right, so we're total fresh pity. We're literally 1 in. We're literally one in, fresh 50-50. Let's just start. We have more than enough. Surely this won't go horribly wrong. Now, to be honest, I would like to transfer some of my luck from this game into other games. So I'm hoping if we go to like hard pity on this, maybe my luck will improve in other gambling I do, because, you know, I just keep on winning in this game, and I'd like to win in other games too. Yeah, dude, they did a really good job with Jang Yu. I like to do the slide here, but we're not going to watch the animations for all this. Yeah, like I said, they did such a good job with her design on this one. I think they really really nailed it. They've been doing so good on all the designs. I don't think there's a single character that's just like, oh, I guess Deshevia. I really don't like what they did with Deshevia, but everybody else has been pretty solid. All right, well, we're 30 in. It's never a good sign when you only get the 1 4-star, you know, when you really want the cracked luck. But like I said, I actually don't want the cracked luck. I want, like, average luck. Oh, there's 40. I mean, to be fair, it is time that I lose, like, hard on one of these. Oh, well, we got the 3-star version of the weapon. Not that we'll ever use it. Let's see. This is the premonition here, you know? You get the double 4 stars like that. What was that, 40? So now we're not quite at soft pity. No. So the pro tip, Josco, for when you're trying to figure out if you quote won, is when you're going through that tunnel, the lights on the edges of the tunnel will be yellow and golden. And then when you're opening up the door to the helicopter, they'll be golden. We're gonna hit soft pity here, so either this one or the next one, probably you'll see it. So keep an eye on the lights on the side. All right, not that one. Those were blue. Ooh, Wooly, that is a tough question. So Wooly's giving me the 2 buttons here. He says, which is better, winning all your 50-50s or always getting early 5 stars? Ooh, man. I gotta say getting them all early. Yeah. Because for me, I've had, not in this game, but in like Star Rail, I've had such abysmal luck with characters that I actually kind of rely on having a guarantee. Like, I'll just kind of roll for a character, and when I hit a gold or whatever, a 5-star, if it's not the one I want, I can just kind of walk away from it and be like, okay, well, at least I know the next character, I get that one. Right? This has always been my complaint. All right, we'll do this one because I'm gonna yap here while I. Good. So check the lights out. You'll see gold. See? Ooh, shiny. And then I'll also shut up about my story here while we hold ourselves in suspense. So you can see the gold light. Whoa! Whoa! Could it be? Ooh, look at this, the 4-star version of the gun. That's not it. Big cat though. I'm not upset about this though. This is actually the first pre-T I've gotten like normally. But never give up. There's always the hidden 5-star at the end here. Surely. No, okay. I was watching my other friend gamble in HSR, and every single time he got one, or not every single time, but the last 2 times he's gambled on characters, he's gotten a 5-star, and they were like, wow, you're so freaking lucky, dude. You win your 50-50. And then I kid you not, 3 3 pulls later, it's like another 5-star. Two in a row now. The last 2 characters, he's gotten double on the 10 pull. And I'm like, you're an insane luck sack. Well, I didn't get away with it this time, boys. I went to soft pity, and we're gonna have to keep going here. But what I was saying before is about I prefer the early 50 or the early characters versus the 50/50s, because people always complain about this model, Hoyo versus model of gambling, and I hated it at first too. But then I also got exposed a little more to some of the other gambling systems. For example, Project Neuroclouds. If you're an unlucky individual, like me in those other games, Hoyo versus model is actually probably one of the better ones out there by far, because nothing is more painful than in Project Neurocloud, for example, getting multiple 5-stars or whatever the max rarity character is, and losing and getting like an off-rate character every single time. I remember one time I was going to get some character in Project Neurocloud. I think I got 7 or 8 5-stars on the way to hard pity. None of them were the rate up character, and so I had to go all the way to 180 to get the even though I was quote getting lucky, because it was like every single 10 pull was like a 5-star character, but like every single time it was a 5-star character I didn't want or I already had, so it was redundant, because in that game they don't even have eidolons, so it was like redundant to get copies of the character. And I was losing it. I was really losing it. And that's happened multiple times. So then what happens is you end up in a situation where unless you have 180 to get the hard pity, you just don't roll on the banner at all, right? Because like if you go, let's say 120 into that banner and you get unlucky and you get a bunch of 5-stars, but they're not the right ones. Okay, cool. Well, then it doesn't roll over. Like the losing 50/50 doesn't roll over to the next banner, because that doesn't exist in that game. So then you have to start again from scratch. So long story short, if you want a character, you literally just can't roll on the character unless you have 180 tickets. And it's like I said, people hate this system because it's like, yeah, the overall probabilities are lower, right? Like 0.6 versus like, for example, Project Neurocloud is 3%. But if you're just like unlucky, it's not as crippling, I guess. Like, because in this game, if I had whatever hard pity is in this one game, it's 70 is like soft pity, 80 is hard pity, like as high as you can go before you get a 50/50. So if you can like guarantee yourself up to like 80 tickets, you at least got a chance to get the character you want. And then if you don't get the character, it's like, well, congratulations, you know the next character is at least quote guaranteed if you can get 80 tickets. So you can kind of plan that way. But like I said, in some games, if you just have bad luck, it's like you could just roll and roll and roll and walk away with nothing to show for it, and then go into the next character with a completely empty amount of collapse pieces, and just like, okay, well, too bad, you get to start over. It's a real feels bad moment. That's enough of my talk about this. Let's keep gambling. Boop. Scooper says they made sure that her assets, I'm assuming you're talking about Jingliu here, or not Jingliu, Jesus Christ, Jingyu. Jingyu, talking about too much Star Rail. Her assets is nothing like the character we're going to see next. We're going to talk about the previews. If we get, oh, there it is! See? This is what I'm talking about, the earlies, like, we're guaranteed this now, so it's, oh, he can't keep getting away with it! It's not fair! It's not fair! Even when he loses, he wins! Fan-freaking-tastic, dude. Hell yeah. That was actually one of the coolest animations I've seen, too. I really like that, like, recruitment animation, I guess. I don't know what they're actually called. Damn, dog. Like I said, even when you don't win, you win. I'm hoping this means I'm hashtag blessed for my gambling in HSR in the next character or two. Woo! I'm a little far behind on chat now because I was yapping all that about stupid 50-50 systems. Yeah, Willie says I don't see the point. Oh, you're talking about, so yeah, Willie's people are hassling. You're getting bullied. Well, you're getting bullied by everyone because you don't play anymore, but you come and hang out with us. What a Chad. But yeah, you don't. Willie says I don't feel like playing until they move the story forward, and we've been going to Leva for leave for a year now. That's true. He means in the story. The city of Lviv. Lviv? I don't know how you pronounce it. Yeah, dude, it's quote coming soon trademark. I don't know what to tell you, but yes, hang in there, bro. Because like I said, I keep hearing wonderful things about the current ongoing events, like we're going to talk about in a minute here. I think we are going to gamble on the weapon because that went so well. I wasn't originally going to gamble on this weapon, and I don't want to get anyone's hopes up by talking about this, but so in CN they just had a banner where it was like it was like log in. I don't know if it's like a log in 7 days in a row or just log in at all, and you get to select a weapon. And I think the weapon choices were this one, Diane's weapon, and a couple others I've already forgot. But the point is, this one was on that banner, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just grab it for them. But I never like talking about stuff like this because I think that was supposed to be for some sort of Chinese holiday or something. I don't know, Chinese Independence Day or something. I don't know. So I have no guarantee or any way of knowing if we're gonna get that same free weapon. So I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. But that's kind of what I was banking on to grab this weapon. So, to be honest, this weapon, there's so many words on it. This weapon is good. It has a very interesting effect. So the thing that's most interesting about this weapon, so when you deal electric damage, you get a stack, and at 6 stacks, you get your next physical attack converted into electric damage. Now, that sounds really interesting, right? Because it lets characters that are, like I said, it's specifically made for her because in her base form, her basic attacks, which you have to use in her normal rotation, don't do electric damage, right? In her normal rotation, it's skill 1 and then, whatever, an alt, and then skill 2 and then skill 1, but you got to put basics in there to kind of fill out the gaps for the cooldown. So her basics are not electric damage, so this converts them into electric damage, which is cool, and it's a very unique thing that doesn't exist on any other weapon. But the caveat is it doesn't really work on other... You can't really give this to other assault rifle users and expect it to work because you need to do electric damage to get stacks. And even if you had a character for some reason, let's just say it's some character that does, I don't know. Let's say you give her a buff somehow that does a little bit of extra electric damage. You still got to attack 6 times before you're getting enough stacks to convert your normal attacks into electric damage. So it's interesting because it lets you like modify your damage profile, but it at the same time is a little too restrictive to I think really rely on that for any sort of interesting team building. And then yeah, this is whatever. The rest of it is whatever. It's got a cooldown, but it's like who really fits the... This is so incredibly tailor-made for her that it's almost hard to get excited about. And the stats are nothing crazy. 348 and 25% crit damage. This is Planeta. I think Planet does 370 something damage. So it's the stats are almost the same as a generic weapon that you can get. Let me just look real quick. Now I need to know. Yeah, it's even less. So it's even less damage than just standard issue Planeta. And if you wanted the attack power version, obviously you just use Golden Melody. So I'm gonna throw 20 at this because I know you guys are all gambling fiends. And if not, I'm gonna put that 20 towards whoever's next. No, dude, no, we can't. No, not like this. Not like this. We can't, dude. No, he doesn't win this. He doesn't win this. Nope. No. It can't be. Jesus Christ! Does anyone now doubt the streamer luck? I mean, I think I've proved it. I actually wouldn't even be surprised at this point if one of you guys in chat are secretly Mika employees who have changed the probabilities on my account. I just I can't, dude. I can't even. Oh my god, I'm literally averaging like across my entire account. I think I'm averaging like 30 for a unit and like 20 for a weapon. That is not the first. Look, let's go back. It hasn't updated yet, but Aglaya, how many did we go in for Aglaya? 12, 18, 24, 30. This one wasn't so crazy. This one I think was like super quick. Wow, I just realized Aglaya and Trailblazer, literally the Honkai Star Rail collaboration. This one was super quick, right? Yeah, this one was 10 as well. Look at this. 10 or ish to get that, and then the Planeta was, I guess that was technically a guarantee, but still, that one wasn't so crazy. This one was crazy too. Geez, what was this? 5, 11, like 25 for Radiance. That I'm averaging like 20 for a weapon. And like I said, my characters are not too far behind because we've had some crazy pull sign characters too. No, Scooper. I was making fun of the name of the weapons, right? There's the weapon banners here. The last two weapons on the weapon banner were called Aglaya, and the one before that was literally called Trailblazer. I wish they, did you guys know that way back in the day, GFL1, original GFL, had a collab with, I think it was Honkai Impact the first? I don't even know if it was Honkai Impact. It wasn't Honkai Impact the third. I think it was literally Honkai Impact like the first. Way back in the ancient days. If you go on like the Wikipedia and look up some of the like the quote missing characters from the English release. We never got it on the English side, but the Chinese side, they did actually have a collab. That was back in the day when Hoyoverse was not any bigger than other random gacha game company. Hoyoverse and Mika Team both had humble beginnings. And then Hoyoverse got popular at school, started hanging out with all the cheerleaders, and totally forgot about their nerdy-ass friend, Mika Team. And now they're like mortal enemies. Now they've grown up, and they see each other in the workplace, and they work for like opposing... One works for Coke, one works for Pepsi, and they like see each other sometimes, and they just like stare at each other and be like, I remember you. Wow. Dude. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say about that, guys. Maybe I should just start, like... I should have you guys start sending me your account infos and logging in on your accounts and just doing your polls for you on stream. And then I could just, bless your accounts with this luck. That's crazy. Ooh, never punished. Yeah, I'd like to thank all my good luck charms, Shadow, Scooper, Radical Link. Well, I mean, everybody is a good luck charm. So... Oh yeah, dude. Wooly says Mike, Mika Team and Hyperdrift. That's a whole nother beef. That's even that one's personal. The other one was just business. The other one was like Hoyoverse got big and popular because of their games, and kind of like left Mika behind. And it's like it's the meme of I don't even think about you anymore, right? Like that's kind of how Hoyoverse is. I don't even think they're in like the same stratosphere. But Mika Team and Hyperdrift, that one's personal. Okay, well let's go on to the news segment here. My God, dude. My God, he can't keep getting away with it, dude. I'm gonna have the police show up and arrest me. Like, sir, We have reason to believe that you've been editing save files. Okay. Let me catch up on chat super quick here. Uh, Oh man, I missed so much. Okay, I lied. I'm not gonna catch up on chat just because I missed so much. Um, but yeah, so that was the one thing. Yeah, Ghost says we might have that same free weapon thing, and we might if that happens. I will just grab one of the other ones because I'm still missing Diane's weapon. Not that it's really that special, but so okay. Let's talk about news, which might be coming to a EN near you. Move this on my screen so I can read it easier. So they announced next character, Helen, DP12. If you guys remember who she was from the first game, she kind of got a little bit of a facelift. Not super crazy about. I mean, it's this is they. I don't know what's going on with this piece of armor here. This is not how ballistic vests work. That's, that's just I mean the rest of her design is fine. It's actually almost the rest of her design is almost identical to how her mod 3 used to be. They changed her hair a little bit, but that's about all I can say. She's got a cool flag thing now. Do they have the animations in this? Somewhere. Well, whatever. I'll do the preview video here in a second. We can look at the animations. It's like a cool little like virtual flag. Actually, kind of dope. In addition to that, there was another character. This one was kind of a surprise. Fadius or Fetusa. Like a cyberpunk samurai ninja, which I am totally all about. This is so the reason this I know some of you are scratching your head like, man, this character looks familiar. The reason this character looks familiar is because it's the boss from, well, it's the sister model of the boss from the Ulrid event, the creepy doll. If you guys remember from that storyline, at the end of the story, like it kind of talked about her and her quote sister that worked at the Marley power plant. I think that was the name of it. Yeah, pretty cool design. Oops, hold up. Mute that real quick. Pretty cool design. Nothing too crazy. The like weird anti-gravity boots or something. I don't know what's going on. The thing that caught my attention the most on this design was, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm gonna circle it with my mouse here. On the chest piece here is a very suspicious symbol. Veterans from the first game might recognize this. This is from what I can tell from the angle it looks at here, this is the symbol for Sengus Ferry. So question mark as to whether this is just like okay, you can't see it, so it looks like it. I'm seeing things that aren't there, or if this is actually a hint for future units to come. But that would be kind of cracked if it would, because that would be almost like a soft confirm that we would be getting some of the units from the first game, the coalition units. And I just realized that way I have this here. Let me adjust this a little bit, because the way on stream here, the pictures are not showing up on your end, right? Because it's getting cut off. I have the box all moved to the side. And that might be good. We're gonna go with that. In addition, they previewed the outfit for Helen. I don't think I need to comment on this. I think we all know what they're trying to do here. So we're just gonna go to the next slide, please. Also, rather interesting alternate outfit for Fetusa. Very much like literally like they're trying to like copy Darcher, which to me this almost like says like, hey, Darcher's not coming as a confirmed unit, so like let's just kind of give you like the next best thing, which is really cool. Also, I shouldn't really have to mention this, but obviously she's a sword unit, so another melee unit, which I hope, and not only just a melee unit, a corrosion unit, an AoE corrosion unit. So I have no idea how all three of those things are going to tie together. We're going to have to find that out as they kind of give more info. But yeah, AoE corrosion melee unit. So don't know how that's going to work. But I'm glad they're kind of sticking with the theme of corrosion being AoE because, Freetia is she needs some allies to work with. Although actually it also worked with Lind and Michi as well. Another preview, Type 100 or 100 Shiki. This one was talked about previously. I already forgot what her name is. Actually, I don't know if they gave her a name in this one, but this is the design they have for her. Pretty awesome. Like, very, I don't know. I just really like this design. It's very, very cohesive. It reminds me a lot of her her original design from game 1, but with like lots of cool improvements. I really like the little scarf here. So that's really cool. This is the other one from that. This is the alternate costume. This one's like a kind of whatever. Another throwback costume. And then there's the Tolo costume, which I think we talked about last time, so I'm not going to really go over that. This one's just kind of cool because it was like a collaboration. As far as I'm concerned, the actual skin itself is pretty boring. How do you change it too much? But it's cool because I guess the original artist, which I'm going to assume doesn't work for Mika in an official capacity anymore. A lot of these artists from GFL1 were like contracted to do art for a character. But they didn't work full time for the company. And it sounded like the original artist drew this picture on whatever, Twitter or whatever. And then they saw it and they're like, boy, wouldn't that make a really cool outfit? And then they like contacted the artist and be like, can you give us the rights to turn this into a unit or like a costume? So I thought that was really cool. We're not gonna. Oh, I forgot to mention. Helen is a Frost bulwark, but she's like kind of got a bunch of supporting abilities built into her, so she's interesting. Oh, that's the we can't zoom in on that. That's a little too much. This was. We're not gonna watch that. That's got spoilers. This was the preview. No. Whatever. You guys can look some of this stuff up. I'm sure there's people who've done like a video. Oh, here, this has got the animation with the flag in it. Some people have kind of covered all this stuff already. I'm sure you can look it up on YouTube. Just literally type in her name. Kind of cool though. Interesting to see what they do with her. Like, this is the summary of how her abilities work. But once again, it's one of those things where it's probably easier to see it in action than try and like just read through. She's gonna synergize pretty well with AN94 and stuff. Oh yes, thank you, Shadow. It's Sakura. That's her name in this for Type 100. And then yeah, the Tolo outfit does remind us a lot of Ouroboros, but once again, to be fair, because like what do you do with the Japanese schoolgirl sailor outfit, right? Like it's just like that's literally the whole theme right there. Right? Like there's not much you can do to change it. So this is I'm not gonna go over some of these because like some of these are just a couple of these videos have spoilers in them, event spoilers, and I don't really want to show them. Also, this is just I think we all know what the purpose of this was. I mean, okay, all right, let's address the elephant in the room. Oh my god, I can't even use that analogy. They are just going a little too hard on this. It's like, okay, they had Florence, which pushed the envelope. And then I guess to be fair, even before that, there was Hyohan that pushed the envelope. And it's like, we've now gotten like 3 or 4 characters in a row that it's just like, guys, please stop. Like, it's a little, ma'am, it's just too heavy. It's just too heavy. So, okay, well, whatever. The Gooners won again. I'm glad for them. I feel like you can't keep doing that forever, right? Eventually, you're gonna have to step away from that, and it feels kind of cheesy, right? Like we've had a bunch of units in a row now that are all GFL1 returnees. Although I literally say that as we're previewing Betusa here, but I almost feel like they need to slow down just a little bit on the returning characters and maybe focus a little less on the fan service, just a little bit. Like I think we're having like fan service overload And it's, you don't want to go too far down that route, because then, like I said, that, as I've explained before, your whole game just turns into that, you know. Uh, so anyway, interesting character that's going to be coming soon. I didn't really want to, like I said, there's not too much to talk about other than that. There was some big changes. Let me see here real quick, see if it mentions them in the patch notes. They scrapped the PvP system. That was something. The ranked PvP system, which I'll be glad to have that gone. I never liked it in the first place. They're adjusting it, and right now it's just gone, the ranked one. The unranked one's still in, and they just moved all the rank rewards to the unranked one, and, pending soon, which is fine, right? Like, that just gives them some time to try and figure out what they're gonna change on it. I don't know what they're gonna change to make it interesting. Maybe they're gonna, I don't know. Like I said, I have never seen a good player versus player system in a gacha game, period. They're either all rankings that just end up being whale modes, or, even like this game where it's like your units versus their units, which also ends up being whale mode. I've never seen a satisfying player versus player system that doesn't just punish anybody who doesn't want to spend a lot of money. So we'll have to see what they do with that. I'm hoping they're going to come up with something creative and new, but, you know. Also, before anyone starts frothing at the mouth, yeah, I forgot to mention these ones. All the costumes that they previewed down here. None of these are in the big dorm gacha shop that everyone was freaking out about a month ago. So we can just chill on that. Oh yeah, and the commander gets a swimsuit. So now you can suntan at the fake beach with your fake girlfriends. So, we're really living that virtual reality lifestyle that they warned us about in every sci-fi movie ever. But that's it. I think that covers all the news. I feel like there was one other kind of big change to the game system that they had talked about, and I've totally forgot. I watched the entire thing, but oh yeah, this is what it was. So we have mod key 2 now. Did they show it here? Yeah, mod key number 2 at the bottom here. Oh boy. So I've complained about this in the past. Remember when I said that the mod key system always ends up being a game of leapfrog, right? Bad units get mod keys to make them good for good units, and then good units get mod keys and leapfrog them again. And now guess what? Now we get to leapfrog them a second time by having the bad units get a second mod key. And then I'm sure the good units will get a second mod key, and we're just gonna finish. This cycle's just gonna go on forever. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say about this one. It's interesting. Ulrid's getting the first one. I'm sure they're only going to hand. I said that last time, and then Xiaomi and Vector got keys, but I'm sure they're only going to hand them out this time for real, guys. I'm sure they're only going to hand them out to the units that really need help. In this one, you can see all the words here. It does a lot of stuff. It's kind of like a rework. It's like a mini rework of Ulrid, which, to be honest, at this point, just rework her character skills. I know you don't do that for gacha games because they're always scared of upsetting people who've already grabbed the character. But whatever, dude. At this point, this is almost like a rework. So, whatever. Yeah, Wooly. So this event that they're previewing here, Anti-Parallel, is supposed to be a major event. I don't know. I don't have any info for you other than that. I believe it was a major event. It's one of those dual events, right? Where it's like 2 character banners in a row, like Springfield and Perry was. But I don't necessarily if they mean like a major story beat. I would imagine, right? Usually when they do these double character events, usually it's because the story ties between both of them, and it has a lot to do with what's going on. So we'll have to see. And yeah, Leva's getting a support attack key, which is like kind of confusing because she didn't really need it. But this just leads back into what I was saying about mod keys and how they just leapfrog each other. And then they talk about some of the stuff for Helena here. I'm not gonna like read this to you perfectly, but you get the idea. So we've covered the news. Yeah. I'm just skimming over this real quick to make sure I didn't forget anything important. I think we've covered everything. Yep. Okay, that's enough. Move this back over other screen. Wow, what a see this is why I knew this episode was going to go a long time, because we're already in an hour and we haven't actually played the game. I mean gambling, but let's level her up real quick while I just kind of, you know, hang out with you guys and catch up on chat, because it's hard for me to read stuff in Discord and also read chat at the same time. Yeah, heavy SF vibes. Like I said, I pointed out that she kind of has the SF symbol on her chest piece there. Yeah, so the story for GFL2, Wooly, is that on the loading screens there's that one little blurb about them that, so in, how do I explain this? So in GFL1, their whole story was they essentially did the Terminator and they went rogue and they broke away from their human like operators and they went totally lone wolf, and so it was like all of the SF units kind of, I guess they just took over the factories essentially and just kind of like made their own, like, I don't want to call it company, but like they went rogue and they made a little personal army, and that's what the first game is kind of like starts out with. You're trying to like kind of contain that little rebellion and mop up the army. In this game, apparently they go defunct after the events of GFL 1, but they don't really say how. Like, completely defunct. Like, I'm assuming all those factories that they were making units at got shut down. Once again, they don't really lead into detail about it. And then, from there, it's not really... It says that the patents for the units go to, like, the, like, you know, just generic open, like, market. So that's why you see them as enemies in the game here, because the idea is like, well, anybody could manufacture a Singis Ferry bulwark or whatever, the little, you know, the Goliaths. So that's kind of why you see them in the game here. But like, as far as like the ringleaders, which are like the actual AIs, right? The actual like sentient cyborgs, they don't really say what happened to them. Like I said, back to what I was complaining about at the very beginning of tonight's stream about the Convolution Kernel event. Guess who they just totally forget about? All the Sangis Ferry units. They literally don't mention them at all. So they're supposed to be hanging out with you. And that's it. That's all we know. They were on the Elmo hanging out with you last we checked. Because in a previous event, when you used the Elmo to go to... the black zone, they call it, to raid the then Paradeus base. The Sangis Ferry units are with you there, and they actually kind of get shit done. They don't fuck around, and that's the last you hear of them. They just literally forgot talking about them after that point. So we have no idea where they're at, what they're doing, what's going on with them. Yeah, Shadow, I miss my Scarecrow. I miss my Architect and my, well, I guess Arias is technically not. She's Paradeus. What else we gotta do? That's me. Change this to this. Every time I look at these, I'm just like, how can one man be so lucky? Yeah, Radical Link put me in my place. He's like, bro, you got the Kyohan skin. He's like, you're not allowed to talk about the Gunner bait, and it's true. I have to mind myself because I'm now one of the people. You know, I'm the target audience now. They, you know, I said I can't. I am a total hypocrite, right? I sit there and I complain about the Gunner stuff, and then I gave them $15 or whatever it was for this. So I don't know, right? I'm part of the problem. I fully admit it. I just, you know, I like things in balance, you know. I don't like I said, obviously I would have never even been playing this series if I was like super like, oh my god, I can't believe they put fan service in the game, because I wouldn't have even gotten past GFL 1. And Project NeuroCloud then got even worse. I don't know. I think we've I don't know if I've ever shown any of the stuff from Project NeuroCloud on the stream here, but like some of the animations in that game are like also very, very fan servicey. So it's not that I am offended by it or anything. It's just like I feel like you gotta have a little bit of balance, right? Like you know, like, this is fine, right? Like, her outfit is totally cool, right? I don't mind that they have the oops, kung fu fighting. Like I said, I don't care that they you know, they skimp it up a little bit here, and you know, like, it's like, okay, cool, you know, lots of different options and stuff. And like I said, I don't mind that, especially when, like I said, there's like kind of, like I say, even this one. This is the classic example, right? They got different tastes for different, or they got different styles for everybody, right? Normal, kind of casual. They got the Gooner bait, sci-fi Gooner bait, and then they got the tactical, right? Like, this is the kind of stuff I love to see, right? Like, if you wanna do this, again, like, have some Gooner bait, just kind of like, just balance it a little bit, you know? Once again, another one, really awesome. Not really Gooner bait at all. Maybe the teeniest tiniest speck of Gooner bait in this one, but like, for the most part, it's pretty good. So I don't want to pretend like I'm a hypocrite too much. I'm definitely a hypocrite, but you know, temper that. I just realized I didn't I didn't prep a set for her. Ooh, this is embarrassing. We're just gonna click. Oh god. Is there a better one? Ooh, I had a good one. What was that doing there? I know I don't have an electric set, so we're gonna go with good old Phase Strike. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, ooh, what about this one? Not great, but you're getting the hand-me-downs for now. I'll figure this out later, guys. You know, yeah, ooh, this is rough. Slim pickings, but you know, it's better than nothing. But Wooly says, Snowbreak revived their games with fan service, but it also means that they are locked into that lane forever. Yeah, that's what I was about to say, because when I hear about people talk about gacha games, to be honest, dude, Snowbreak is not one of them. Like, all the thing that all the casuals and like the mainstream gacha audience talk about is the typicals. Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, which is just, as far as I can tell, Genshin Impact, but different. And then a couple other games like Arc Knights, maybe Nikkei, although that one's very heavy on the fan service too. Those are the big ones. I mean, I know Snowbreak exists, but to me, this is just my outsider opinion. It seems about as popular as Punishing Grey Raven, which is not like super popular. But yeah, that's part of it too, is right? They are kind of locked into that because okay, we're rehashing old territory here, but I'm gonna go over it real quick for people who haven't heard my spiels before. But when you go down the Gooner bait track too hard, the Gooner crowd expects more of it, and so when you don't release it, they get mad at you, or they just kind of like complain. And it actually scares away the normies. As much as it sucks to say that, one of the things that you want in your game to make it like successful is another way of saying make a lot of money, which means having the biggest audience possible play your game, is you need to have it sit well with the normie audience. This is why HSR and Genshin Impact, I think, do so much more, like money-wise, than all the other companies, just because I think they're a lot more like socially acceptable, right? Like, they're a lot more tame on the fan service, like very tame. Almost like non-existent. But yeah, it's like you can't go too far down it, because it's like you do really lock yourself into a very specific audience, and not only do you lock yourself into that specific audience, it scares the other people away. That's almost, I think, the bigger issue is it scares possible people that would play your game because of the gameplay, or because whatever, like, where they like the characters or whatever. It kind of scares them away. I mean, I just literally did a guide on this. Why am I thinking about which ones to grab? I know which ones to grab here. Oh damn, well, you can't. Don't bring up the Klukai hat. Don't make me relive that. we got to go over this too again sometime today. This was on the to-do list. I think we're gonna do that next. What am I missing? Why is her attack power so incredibly low? I mean, I know my attachments are ass, but it shouldn't be that low. Well, maybe it should be. Oh my god, these are really bad. Maybe it should be that low. Oh, I don't have any keys in. That might actually help. I need to actually equip them. I'm like way behind on chat now. I'm scared to ask Wooly, what do you mean by I'm a lot more interested in lettuce than Helen? I'm not sure who lettuce is. Yeah, Shadow, so you're right, I guess they did tell... I don't know, man. I don't remember, Shadow. Shadow says last time I heard about the friendly Sangus Ferry was when they went to go protect Kruger and Helen, or Helena, or I don't remember, because they were in Fixed Point and Slow Shock, and then I don't remember what happened after that. They came back on the Elmo, and then things got really weird. To be honest, the Slow Shock, in my opinion, was kind of a weird event, but it got really weird after that. The story took a very odd direction, so I don't remember, to be honest. I'm just going to put some generic keys on her, which I'm sure are going to be all ass, because I think I only have attack and defense boosts left. So we're just going to pick some really crappy ones real quick. Oh, there's a decent one. My god, I'm breaking my stream. Go back. Go back, where was it? Okay, here we go. Yeah, Shadow. It ticks me off too that her hat is in the dorm. It's like all... I was so excited when they announced the modular accessories. Actually, now that I think about it, is she the only one that doesn't have a third headpiece? Right? That one's got 2. Don't all the new ones have 3? Or am I imagining that? I might be imagining that, actually. I have hallucinated before on stream. Yeah. Okay, it's technically... Like, there's technically 3 different ones, but, like, one's, like, the quote default. So she's technically missing one. Anyway, I was really hoping that she was going to get the hat instead of just the sunglasses and the cat ears as the default, but... oh well. You know, it is kind of cool when she's... The hat's so cool. It makes the outfit. It makes the police officer outfit. I just... Oh, dude, everyone's thirsting over the Mod 3 Sabrina outfit. I don't know, man. The Mod 3 Sabrina outfit is very similar to her actual outfit. I'm kind of glad in this game they got away from the whole... Where the f is she? I'm glad they got away from the whole, like, weird octopus arms with shields sticking out of the backs of the units. And in her alt, she still has the shield that she deploys, like, for not in-game, but, like, in the alt's animation. So that's cool. Her outfit's very similar. It's not so dark. It's a little more red and a little less, like, dark blackish gray. I don't know. The hair, I think the hairstyle's different, though. Oh, well, he says that lettuce was referring to the... Hey, Tusa, you mean? I'm not sure. I'm not making the connection there, but... And Wooly is... See, we're like a... This is our safe space, dude. This is our little echo chamber, because we all think the same thing. Wooly's in agreement, because I'm not too much of a normie, but the too much fan service turns me away. And I agree with that, obviously, because I just said it. Okay. I want Mod 3 Sabrina outfit because it looks cool and sci-fi and reminds you that she's an android. Yeah, maybe. I mean, like I said, it's so similar, right? Like I could pull up GFL1. I'm not going to. little too much work, but it's just very similar. Unless you're specifically talking about the fact about the floating like shield arms, which for some units it was fine. For other units, it started to look really goofy. I personally like it. If they were going to do the riot shield thing, I liked the unit holding the shield, which even actually, I'm going to guess they don't do that anymore because of, like, it's just too hard to animate. Like, because even Helen that we just looked at in the preview, she doesn't have one either. And I'm looking, nobody has one. Even Peritia was supposed to. You can kind of see them, I think, in the artwork. Can we see the original artwork here? No, I know in one of the previous versions of the artwork, these little things on the side here were supposed to be the armor panels folded up. Wait, isn't it the alt animation? Am I hallucinating? How do we get to it? So many buttons these days. It's this, it's this. Was it? No, not this. But anyway, these little things on the side are supposed to be like folded up armor packs. Like ballistic vest type things. No, it's not in this animation. I don't know, whatever. It's just take my word for it. They used to exist on her, but they got rid of it. And I'm gonna guess it's because there's too much animation involved with like floating like armor plates. And to be honest, they didn't make any sense from a practical standpoint. That's just my hot take though. I've yapped and I've yapped and I've yapped some more. Let's now do... Okay, so something I did want to cover. God, there's so much stuff to cover. We have the new remolding pattern system in the game here. This is just something I want to talk about. Okay, let's start with the very beginning. What is this remolding pattern system? So the remolding pattern system is kind of like a secondary leveling system that the units now use. It's accessed through here. You can't access it till you're level 55. Then it unlocks. It unlocks at level 1, and it gives you base stats. From what I can tell, I was like looking around the different units. These seem to be based off of your default stats, right? Like your the base stats are based off the base stats. The percentages that these increase are based off of the base stats, which also means 4-star units are going to be lower than 5-star units because 4-star units have lower base stats than 5-star units of similar things. For example, health here is 1650 for a 4-star. The 5-star version of that character essentially is 1891, right? Like, or 1819. So yes, obviously that's going to carry over into the remolding pattern. You see it here too. So these stats are based off of your character's base stats. I don't know how else to explain it. You level this up independently. This is essentially a secondary leveling system that doesn't use combat reports. It uses these other new type of things. And as you can see on the left here, as you level up higher and higher, it does two things. One, it just makes the stats go up, just like you would if you leveled. The other thing it does is unlock these different tiers. Every 10 levels, start at the beginning here. Every 10 levels unlocks a new tier. These tiers, when you meet the requirements, which we'll talk about in a second, unlock new abilities, right? This is, the keystone one at the very end here, a bunch of more damage, and a lot of it's like that, right? And more attack power, essentially, etc., etc. Some of them have interesting effects, but for the most part, it is mostly just stats. So whatever. These are going to take a little bit to accumulate enough of these, but you're going to level them up, get a bunch of free stats just for leveling up the character with this system, and you'll unlock the ability to get all these special abilities. Now, how do we get those special abilities? You'll see each one of these have symbols next to them. When you have enough of these little, I don't know what are these things actually called? No, that's not what they're called. Whatever. We're gonna call them little plugins here. When you're putting plugins in, they're going to have different stats, or these different symbols, right? For example, this one has 3, or this one has 2 and 1. That's a better example. So when we equip it in the plugin slot here, you're going to get 2 things. You're going to get the symbols, which are used to meet the requirements for this, and then you're going to get some of the other stuff here. We'll talk about this in a second. But to unlock the abilities associated with these different tiers, you're going to need enough of those symbols across all your different plugins. Higher tier plugins give you more. For example, a low tier one gives you 2, a mid tier one gives you 3, and then I don't have a gold one to show you. Maybe I do. A gold one here. This one gives you 5. So you're gonna. So once again, at max level here, to get all of them, you'd need 3, 8, and 18 total. Which that's just gonna be mixing and matching, and I can't really explain to you, exactly which ones to pick. That's that's just something you have to do, because these plugins, similar to weapon attachments, are totally random, right? Like when you get them, it's just got different random stats on them, and they do different things. I shouldn't say totally random. They're a little bit forced because they're based on the class that they're meant for. But long story short, for example, these two, I should say, have the exact same icon and everything, but they give you different stuff, right? One of it's attack, one of it's a different stat. So, level up the remolding pattern, get free stats, match the symbols, unlock bonus abilities. Use the plugins. When you pick a plugin, they not only give you the symbols that you need, they also give you 2 little substats here. Usually it's attack and something else, right? Like this one's hydro damage. They do stack the effects. For example, if I take one with attack and hydro, and then I put another one in, that's attack and burn, you add these up. So I got 1 from this attack, 1 from this attack, and does this one have it? And 2 from this one. So I'll have 4 total. To be honest, the really important ones are, who would have guessed it, attack and damage stats. I know, shocker, right? So you can kind of mix and match, but to be honest, it's just like weapon attachments, it's going to be limited by what you get. And I'm going to take a quick peek at the chat. If you guys know more about this, if there's some pro tips, please do let me know. I haven't really looked into much of this, into the system too much, like as far as like the nitty gritty details. So if you guys got some pro tips for me, hook a brother up. Let's remove these for now. So Willie says that the remolding is added to baseline stats. It's not a % bonus. Yeah, what I was saying is that these stats are based off of your base stats, right? For example, Macchiato gets 36 attack, but Klukai, oh, that's a bad example. Well, actually, it's probably a good example because they both get 36 attack, which would mean their base attack is pretty similar. 827, 844. So yeah, within 20. Now, if we pick someone like Diane, so this one's a little less, 31 attack. It's because her base attack, yeah, 722. So that's what I was talking about when I was saying that the remolding pattern stats are based off of your base stats. I don't know if that's what you were referring to. So, wow. So Paul says that the quick equip system here actually works pretty well. I will take your word for that. Right now it's looking like trash because I have trash choices because I haven't really farmed this. We're gonna farm this in a second here. But I have trash ones to begin with, so it can only work with so much here. But yeah, I guess you're right. Like this is dumb, right? Like why would you give Diane AoE damage? But once again, I think that's mostly just because I don't have any better choices. Yeah, like this one's good. It prioritized giving her crit damage, which is definitely the stat she wants. Oh, no attack power, but once again, I think that's just a me problem. So it's a pretty cool system. The question is, I mean, I know we're getting harder content in the future. To me, this seems like a soft reset. like, because these are not small stats, right? Like, so a fully built Diane, for example, is 2700-ish attack power, right? This, if you level it all the way up, is another 200. And now maybe this is what you were talking about. Do these don't get added to your base stat, right? So things like weapon attachments that give you percentage base, they don't go off of this, right? I have to probably check that myself, but this is where they get, now we're talking like nitty-gritty theory crafting here, guys. Some of these things don't scale, right? For example, when you have a weapon attachment that gives you percent attack boost, it scales off of, and let's see if I can remember this correctly, because it's very confusing. It scales off your base attack, your affinity, and I want to say your neural helix. It doesn't, no, one of these is, oh god, see, I forgot already. One of these is goofy, right? One of these doesn't actually work. I can't remember if it's a affinity or dispatch system, but one of these numbers is considered part of that base number, and one of them is not. I want to say affinity and dispatch room, so maybe it's neural helix? I don't remember. But yeah, it gets a little confusing though, because you don't, this sheet is a little, and I think, oh yeah, the other one the other one that does apply is base weapon stats. Ah, Jesus, like I said, this is so confusing how to explain it. Flat weapon stats here, like this 162, the 35% does take that into account. That, like I said, this is like nitty-gritty math that I have to revisit every single time I'm making a guide or doing a calculation for a video, and I always get it confused because it's a little confusing. Because yeah, like I said, they don't separate it by what multiplies off what. They just kind of like list them all out here, which is helpful, but you have to kind of reverse engineer which ones are being taken into account to figure out how you're getting this, you know, this final number here. But these, anyway, the point I was making is that these are big stat increases, right? Like these are not small. So especially if they're considered base stats, so that the rest of your gear scales off of them too. So this to me is kind of like a soft reset on how character's power level is going to be. I mean, I know I've seen numbers from like the CN side in the 20,000 here. Right? It's not unusual to have a unit with like 20,000 CE, so that should just kind of give you like an idea of how much of an effect this has on characters. So I hope that they're giving this stuff because of the upcoming content that's supposed to be difficult. Because what this will unintentionally do is make everything else even easier, which is like, I don't know how we could possibly get to that point, but we're not going to have time to go over it today. Maybe we'll do it next week. We have the peak value assessment somewhere here, extreme peak. Oh, it's not even open yet. Good. I don't have time for that today. But we are going to talk. We are going to go over the. Well, let's change this background. We are going to go over the remolding pattern system. Tarkov mode. I don't know what to call it. Hiya. Oh, come on, really? This is a little inappropriate. I mean, I understand she's wearing shorts, but still, it's like, come on, guys. Is this what the people want? This is what the people want. Okay. Paul says, yeah, Paul says, quick equip, don't mauled. That's good advice. Especially if you don't have very many plugins, which we're about to go get some. If I can figure out where it's located. Under boundary push, base clash. Okay. Let me take a quick breather here. Rattling's like, I'm looking respectfully. Well, I'm going to take your advice on this, by the way. Once stream's over, I'm going to be doing quick equip on everybody. Although I do need to figure out who I want to level first. Right? The gacha player in me says level Nemesis or remolding pattern first, but the tryhard in me says like level a meta unit like Changju. So maybe I'm going to have have those two personalities ballot out later. So this is how you get them. So we have a new version of
Your good old, typical boundary push. I don't know how I feel about this, guys. The reason I don't know how... We're going to do one here. We're going to do the fire one here. The reason I don't know how I feel about this is because I feel like it's a little too restrictive on these elements. I did the hydro one here before stream, just to kind of like show you some of the stuff you get. I really didn't... We'll talk about it here. We'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, it's a little restrictive in my opinion. So the strategies and stuff all carry over from the first one. So max those out if you didn't. Some of them are disabled. Like for example, the ones that let submachine guns just like instantly kill bosses, like that doesn't work anymore. But the other ones do. Like a lot of the other important ones do. So you make sure those are maxed out. As you clear the zones, you're going to get all this stuff, including these boxes, which are important because they have more of the higher tier plugins in them. In fact, I think you guys have also been getting them through dailies. I feel like I've been getting these somewhere already. Where are they shown? Yeah, okay, we've been getting some of the stuff through the dailies here. They changed this, and then we also were getting them by accident through was it Gunsmoke Frontline? I don't remember. We were getting some, because I know I have some. Once I find them. They're in here somewhere. I'm looking right at them, aren't I? Maybe I'm not? Here they are. So, open it, get a random one. Cool, now I'm not so poor anymore. See, these ones have, like, better stats overall. Did I get a god one? I forgot to mention these are locked to certain classes, but to be honest, don't worry about it too much. There's a little bit of overlap. For example, the Bulwarks use mostly Bulwark plugins, but they can also use like I think it's a Sentinel one and a couple supports, so don't worry about it too much. But obviously some are going to be more useful for units than other. Like for example, this healing boost one probably is not going to do anything for a damage dealer. So you want to save that for like Center EC. But something like this is kind of universal. Yeah, this could be used on anybody, really. So anyway, you get them through that. And the other way to get them is obviously through the mode we're going to do here. So these bosses are actually not a joke. You're going to see here in a minute. They got hands. They got hands. So don't be sloppy at this team building screen here. We're gonna do the fire one because I don't want to embarrass myself on stream and get slapped around. And since I have an entire team of fire units, we should be fine. If you don't use the correct unit, so let's rewind a second here. You'll see the buff, right? So for this one, all fire units are going to do extra damage and they do extra stability and then a little bit of damage reduction. So this is important, but even more important than this buff is the fact... This is why I don't like the system, by the way, is because they double penalize you. If you use someone who's not a fire element, not only do you not get that buff, you actually get penalized. So, I don't know if you can see... It doesn't reflect here on the screen here, but you'll see this little down arrow here, and in the tutorial it even tells you. You will start with half of your base stats, which, once again, as we talked about a little bit ago, this is how everything gets multiplied. So half your base stats is not... It's not going to lower this to like 1800. It's going to go even lower than that because it's the base stats, not the final stats. So not only does it punish you for not using a fire unit because you're not getting the buff for the stage, you're actually getting double penalized because you're also getting the debuff. So it's a huge swing, which means you just have to end up using a team of all the elements, which, you know, in my opinion, is a very ham-fisted way to force you to get a team of all the units, because, like, what happens? What happens if you don't have 5 electric units, guys? Riddle me this. Let's say you didn't get Jiang Yu or Andrus, or, like, you didn't have Mosin, right? Like, this one's gonna be a rough one. That's why I'm gonna do this off stream, because I don't want to embarrass myself. We're gonna have to I'm gonna have to slot in 2 other units here. Luckily, there's no like cooldown. Like for example, I just did the water one today with does it show? Yeah, this was the team I used, and Macchiato got absolutely fucking slapped. But there's no cooldown, so I can reuse all those units again if I want to here. But I'm gonna have to come up with something creative to not get like just absolutely destroyed. I'm probably gonna have to go like double healer, I think. I don't know. It's rough because in the Hydro team, people are getting one shot. Macchiato just absolutely got crumpled. And in fact, even my Sabrina, who I don't have geared, you can see because her score is so low. She only had 3,200 HP. She actually was getting, even Sabrina in cover was getting one shot by the boss's abilities just because I never geared her out because I was too lazy to do it. Because I'm like, it's not a big deal. It'll be fine. It was not fine. So the turns, it was like the second that Springfield's HP buff ran off and she didn't have like 5,000 or 8,000 health, Sabrina just like bloop. But anyway, I'm gonna have to figure something out for this on my own time. I think it's gonna be like Andrus and Springfield, or maybe even Centurisi, because Centurisi can do that ability with her new key here that gives everyone 1 instance of damage ignore, whatever it is. I don't know. It's in her kit somewhere from her expansion key. So yeah, we're gonna have to double up on the supports on that one, but I'm not gonna do that on stream because, like I said, I don't want to embarrass myself. I want you guys to make fun of me. This is the team we're gonna use for this. I'm catching up on chat here. Paul says, I put my Gunsmoke team all to 10. Oh, you're talking about for, I'm sure your remolding pattern. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a similar thing, Paul. I'm going to try and probably do the low-hanging fruit. Oops, sorry, I'm knocking my mic around. I'm going to do the low-hanging fruit, which would be like, yeah, lower levels. And then maybe, like I said, that's the tryhard in me. But I'm not really in the correct platoon to be a tryhard, so I don't know. It's kind of like, should I even bother doing this? So... you're right. And then for the missing slots for physical, Paul, I could use, or for the electric team, I could use physical units, but they're still going to take half stats. That's the big one, is the half stats. I don't care that they don't do a lot of damage. Other decent choices I was thinking might be like Papa Shah, because if nothing else, her robot can like just distract people, right? Soak a hit every now and then, go into auto repair mode, and even if she's not really contributing much to the team, she's like another body to like soak, you know, boss attacks. So, I don't know. I'll figure it out on my own time though. Alrighty. You guys probably are familiar with this. This looks similar, doesn't it? It's essentially the same exact mode as Boundary Push, except obviously you can't auto farm it with your units. Said this is another weird game decision that I've complained about in the past. It's like, okay, so they made Boundary Push, then they're like, oh, people don't like to farm it, so let's make it so that you can auto farm it. And then later on, they just bring it back in its original form where you can't auto farm it. I don't know, man. So the goal obviously is to grab the boxes. You'll see I'm getting stats here on the left. These crates are the rewards you can get for each element type's map. Now the maps have different floors to them, just like they do normally, although you never actually do it normally because once again you just auto farm everything. But on the first floor here, I think you can get all the yellows and purples, but I don't think you can get all the like blue ones here. You have to go to deeper floors, which we're gonna do here. But the actual gameplay itself is exactly the same as Boundary Push. The main difference being that the enemies start to scale, not so much on this first floor here, but the second and third floor, the enemies start to scale much more intense, and they start to get hands. So you don't really want to like be taking lots of battles, especially in the deeper levels. Like some of the enemies kind of hit hard. They're really making me go all the way around here. So rude. Is there one in the corner? Grab that. Switch it again. You'll see they also really like to do these like little... I've noticed there's a lot of these like little like double gated areas where you gotta like, you know, play like a little mini game. Mr. Streamer, does your platoon have spots? Yes, we do, Radiclink, and I will be happy to send you an invite because Gunsmoke is tomorrow night, I think, right? Yeah, we have like 4 or 5 slots. I will be honest, we missed the 5% cutoff last time because I bricked one of my runs, as in I forgot to do them on the very last day because I forgot it closed early. Let me rephrase that. I didn't forget that it closed early. Come on, fire. I didn't forget that it closed early. I just thought it closed on Sunday early, and it closed on Saturday early. So we missed the 5% cutoff. Partially my fault. I take responsibility. And also, we just had, like, I think, 10 people not doing runs. Like, 10 people had quit the game, essentially. So we had a lot of open slots. Now, we've replaced about 5 or 6. So hopefully this time we're going to be coasting our way to 5%. But yeah, I'll can I show you my... I can't. I'll have to show you my ID again. Oops, I goofed. I wasn't supposed to attack him. We'll do a quick battle here. I'll show you my ID real quick after the... towards the end of the stream here, and if I forget, remind me. And after we do that, just send me a message or whatever, or friend's request, and I'll invite you to the platoon. So I have a feeling we'll get 5% pretty easily this time around. Now the reason these units are dying is because we're on the first floor. You'll see once we get to the higher floors, this probably won't happen. And you'll see at the boss here, the boss actually isn't a joke either. I mean, to be fair, this guy wouldn't have even lived this long normally. The fact that he was able to soak all the follow-up attacks was pretty impressive. Yeah, Ghost, we haven't got there yet, but yes, they at least are very generous with the amount of time you have to kill the bosses. The reason I didn't want to take that fight is because normally it raises your crisis level, but I forgot that was an elite, so it lowered it because I defeated an elite because of one of these things lowers your threat level, I think, when you kill an elite. Whatever. The point is that higher difficulty floors, you probably don't want to be taking fights that you don't have to. Yeah, Paul says you can avoid all combat after the boss, and that's exactly what we're going to try and do, but sometimes you make sloppy mistakes like I just did there. I haven't run into a situation yet where you have to fight somebody. I mean, the boss you have to fight because he's guarding the loot, but after the first floor, the other floors, like I said, I haven't seen like a little map layout where it forces you to engage in combat. Can I get around this way? Yeah, I can. You do want to search out all the areas, though. Like, for example, I know I can go to the boss right now. This is kind of cool. I like how they did this, this little mini game here. Gotta get all the decryption keys. But you do want to search out all these little side rooms and stuff to get all the crates. Oh yeah, that's right, Radiclink. You already added me. I forgot. Yeah, just shoot me a message, because I forget who's who on the friends list. And I'll send you an invite. Yo, what up, Chada? Thanks for showing up, man. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Paul. So Paul says, I think they did a good job of balancing it compared to the regular version. You can legit solid snake your way through it. Oh, dude, I already killed the Council of Frogs. Paul, is that the one that gives you the silver toad, like trophy? Because if that's the one that did it, I accidentally did it on my my run earlier today. So that was the one. Yeah, you're right. That was the one situation where it was like, this is kind of forced combat. Ooh, I don't want to do that. That will start combat. Wait till he moves away a little bit. You're right. That one was a forced combat because obviously it's kind of like an achievement. But yeah, that one, those guys were kind of slapping. Those toads were not messing around. How did he not see me? I know the one toad, the corrosion toad, he was spitting, dude. He was spitting hot fire. I know he said corrosion on his name, but he was spitting hot fire. All right, this is another elite, so I need to not... I can't even click on him, which is fine. Oh, damn. That guy's on point. He ain't messing around. So usually when there's elites like this, there tends to be a barrel. Do I have a sniper on this team? I don't. Ugh. There tends to be a barrel that can blow both of them up at the same time. Just have to like wait and position correctly to get them both. Let's see if I can time this right. Nope, that won't get him. Oh, now. There we go. That's how you get around it. Oh, okay, Paul. So there's going to be another element of Council of Frogs in the fire zone. Cool. Now, are there... I don't think I encountered any, like, small enemies last time. Yeah, it's just the boss usually in this arena. Now, where do I want to start? I think probably on this side, right about here. I don't have any snipers that need to be up here. Not that it matters, because there's no cover. I'm trying to think. He does... cleaves and yeah, I'd rather... I think this is a good spot. Yeah, Chata, this is the new phase. I forgot. You're right. I forgot what the name was too. Phase thingy. Okay, so we have a lot of turns. We got 20 turns up here, but this boss, he's thick. He's got 300,000 health. And he also... mostly, he's got 3,000 attack. So he slaps. So we got to be a little careful. I'm just looking at everyone's HP real quick. Yeah, because like 2 hits from some of his stuff will just absolutely kill somebody. If they're not in cover, especially. So... you do have to actually do the mechanics. As I discovered in the water boss one, like if you don't do the mechanics, you will get clapped. So this one is... so he doesn't have Wrath right now, so the first thing he's going to do is pick the highest HP and do 80% attack. This should be targeted, so... let's show. Yeah, this is targeted, so you can get cover protection from this. So we can ignore the second half because he doesn't have Wrath. Then he's going to do the Cleave, which is just a big frontal. Doesn't have Wrath, so we can ignore that other part. And then same thing, lowest HP. And this is the split one, or no? This is not a split one, I don't think. I think we will be good. So Centarisi is going to take the highest HP one. It's the first attack, and then the lowest HP one will... I don't think it'll be Centarisi. I think that won't dip her low enough, so she should be Sharkery then. So I don't want Sharkery, or whoever gets hit with the cleave here is going to be probably the lowest, so we need to... I'm just playing out my turn. So I think Vector is going to be here. How far can Centarisi go? How far is the cleave again? It's 4 tiles, Ryan? Yeah, okay, so 1, 2, 3. Yes, it'll be this whole thing. I think if Centrisi stands here, she'll be fine. So let's have Chongju come here. Let's start, because I want to strip all this stability off of him first. I don't know why it's going to let me attack from this angle, but I'm okay with it. I needed to move her out of the way so I could put Vector here. Vector's going to tank. I think it's going to be... I think she's just going to tank the... We'll see. Hopefully my plan doesn't go completely shit. Although he's dying a lot faster than the water boss was. So maybe I'm overthinking this a little bit. This team is a lot stronger than my water team is. Because my... I was using Tolol and Niketa as my 2 damage dealers, and my Niketa is like not properly built. I got super lazy and I just slapped some stuff on her, and it ended up being a problem. She was not putting out a lot of damage. Let's have you come to... Well, it doesn't really matter, but we'll have you come to here, and then I think go to this corner. I goofed, didn't I? We're gonna hope that she doesn't get targeted, otherwise I'm gonna have to rewind. I forgot that the jump has to be where you want to end. Let's do the ult. We've already made one big mistake, boys. I'm gonna hope that I'm gonna hope it's gonna pick Vector. Because that was another thing I realized. I don't think you can res units once they die. How do we know who gets targeted with this? Just says selects one direction. I wonder... I'm going to play it safe, I think, and put Sharkery all the way back here. She's the lowest HP. We're going to see how this goes. And I think Centrisi should be safe there. And I know I messed that turn order up a little bit, but... He's taking enough damage that I probably will kill him in like 1 or 2 turns. I lied, he did get Wrath. Oops. Okay, well, it's not what I wanted to happen. It's okay. We're fine. We're fine. That actually worked out. Okay, that could have gone way worse than it did. What do we got next? We got another highest HP. Now, he does have Wrath, though, so this should... Yeah, okay, so it's actually going to be AoE damage within 2 tiles of the highest HP target. So I got to keep... Centrisi's going to ult here, and that's going to heal everyone up to full. So Centrisi will be highest HP. So I just got to make sure no one's standing next to Centrisi. And then this one, again, is another one of the sweeps. So he does have Wrath. He's going to charge the direction to do this, which should be fine, I think, as long as... Yeah, I think we're Gucci. Okay, so we're going to have Centrisi ult. Sharkery's going to come to here on her turn. But for now, we're not going to. I don't know why. I really don't understand how she can attack through this angle, but I'm going to guess it's like this corner to here, but, you know, I'm okay with it. Vector, you're going to go next, because we need some confectants. Oh, yeah, dude, we're going to dumpster this guy. Jeez. Said I'm overthinking this a little too much. This is why I picked this team. I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of you guys. I had to do a couple rewinds on the Hydro boss because I had also forgot how all his abilities work. But this is this is actually like we were saying, this is good content, man. This is what I like to see. Like the bosses, this team is a little cracked, so that's why he's dying so quickly, but like you got to be careful. You can easily die, especially if you're using units that are not fire, like be it half base stats. You got to be really careful with this. So like we've kind of come full circle, and like now we're back to the like you got to use strategy in the strategy game again. I mean, it's not super difficult, but it's also not free, right? That kind of hurt. But I said, I don't think we're going to get double tapped here. Uh-oh, maybe. He hasn't used the cleave yet, and I think she might get clipped by it. Oh my god! Nope, I think she's toast. Doesn't he still do an attack after this? Or, oh, I guess he already did the charge. Alright, it's a little confusing how the animation went there, but... Oh my god, Vector, what a champ! You know what it is, dude? This is such a pay-to-win game. It's because... you can't see it, but... It's because I got that oath ring. See that? See on her hand? I got that oath ring, dude. Pay to win, that 5% stats. He's gonna die, so I'm just gonna... Oh, I want to heal first. Heal. And now he can die. But yeah, as you just saw there, if you don't do it correctly and split the attacks up, like I obviously messed up something there as far as like highest HP, lowest HP. And yeah, you can get absolutely dumpstered if 2 or 3 attacks go on one guy. Ooh, a question mark. But yeah, so if you do the first floor here, all the high quality stuff is there, but we're missing some low quality stuff, which also, it also looks like I missed a room here. Oh, did the game get me? Is it inside one of these things? So I thought you see an outline of it. But maybe I'm crazy. No? Oh, it's right here. Where are we going? We're going over here to this one. And then we go to the next level. So it's going to tell you here, difficulty is going to increase. As you'll see in the top there. We're going to go, I think it's up to hard, is floor 2, and then it goes nightmare, and then fucking like hell mode or something. But this is for the min-maxers. From here on out, this is like min-max stuff, because I said we've gotten all the important stuff. Now we're just essentially going to be running around this entire map, collecting the lower tier loot boxes, which don't give anything too crazy. It's data connections, and then you get some of like the low tier ones, but once again, not a big deal. You do have to use your knowledge of how this version, or this like this game mode works, though, to not take a million years. Like how, you know, say how these guys like overlapping, you don't want to like, obviously. The nice thing is if you ever goof, it's going to tell you that you goofed, right? Like, let's say I think I can pick this back guy off. It's like, well, you can't, right? And it's going to tell you, right? Just always, before you shoot, don't get hasty, and just, you know, take it easy and just check to see who's gonna, if you're gonna start battle. Weirdly enough, this one does not start battle. And I haven't had any weird glitches with the game lying to me yet. I don't know why that one would start battle though, but okay. It's not, like I said, it's not always perfect. I've also noticed that some of these enemies tend to like kind of teleport a little. They get a little janky with their patrol method, or like their, like where they're standing. Not here, I'll show you in a second. You'll see it, they'll kind of like teleport around a little bit. That's probably a bug that's, I'm gonna assume gets fixed pretty quick. And yeah, we're just gonna run around, and every time a zone gets cleared out, it goes to green. And we're just gonna do that. This. Bet you there's a barrel here somewhere. Nope, I lied. It's not. Should not alert anyone. I switched to submachine gun because you'll see their shot range is lower, but also the circle, the alert range is lower too. That's why these guys weren't turning around. I have to wait for it to go off alert before I can even kill him. Maybe I can't. I think we just skip them. The reason they're on fire is because they have like a self buff, which if we were to enter combat with them, you'd see what it does. It just like raises their stats. So just gotta be kind of cautious about killing these guys. I'm gonna finish up this floor and then we'll end there. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe somebody who's done this. If you leave early, like for example, if I left at this point in time, can I re-enter and pick up where I left off and collect like the rest of the missing boxes, or am I pretty much like, do I have to like start over from scratch? Ooh. Ooh. No witnesses. I think with having no knowledge at all, I think you can leave and come back with no like loss of progress, but I haven't tried it yet, so maybe we'll finish this floor up. Maybe I'll experiment real quick if nobody can give me an answer here. Okay, so Paul says you can teleport to the boss via these like relay nodes here, and to any explored nodes. Okay, yeah. So for example, on that last floor, if it dumps me in the first floor again, I can just teleport right to the second floor's like entrance/exit, right? Or for example, if I activated this one, if I run all the way around here. Oh my god, they really did make it a spiral pattern. So if I left right now, you're saying if I came back in, I could just teleport straight to this one. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's try that, huh? So let's leave. You'll get to keep all your stuff. All these goodies, I'm not going to look through them now because let's see this one. This is a bulwark one, right? It's okay. This looks like it's going to be a Sabrina one, but we'll see. Speaking of Sabrina. And then if we go back in, what happens? Let's see where it puts us. Okay, we're back on floor 1, but like Paul pointed out, yeah, you can just like teleport here and then go to floor 2. Okay, that's pretty fair. That sounds like a win. Yeah, I would love to go do the Council of Fire Toads, but maybe we'll save that. Oh, I can't do it for next week. But we'll do another one of them next week. I just don't want the stream to go too long. We are at 2 hours. I think I've overstayed my welcome. Man, we didn't even get to the sandbag team. I wanted to level up this. I didn't touch the team from last week, but I did attempt that same challenge mode again, Creepy Doll. All I did was put in Niketa for a little extra damage. My really crappily built Niketa. Where is she? Just ought to show you the stats. Just not great. She's using Arcana though. That's better than nothing. But yeah, I put in Niketa for a little extra damage, and I put in Centaurisi for like actual healing instead of Cheetah, and it was super easy. So I need to unsandbag our team a little bit, but not too much. It is just kind of like a for funsy thing that we're doing, because I also remembered that you can borrow units for those challenge modes, right? Like if we go to... Oop, not artifact recovery. Do. Yeah, you can just borrow people from your friends list here, and like, oh, you want a segment 6? Cool, just wipe the floor with it. So it's a challenge mode, but not really, because even if I don't have good units, you should be able to borrow somebody's good unit. So anyway, I think we've hit the time limit for our stream here. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do for next week. Maybe I'll do a bonus stream this weekend. Keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure about that though. We'll see. Oh, cool, Radical Link. Yeah, I'll get you the invite right after stream's over here. So, but yeah, next week we're gonna do all the stuff we didn't have time for this week, and yeah, whatever else I feel like. So, I feel like there's something else I needed to say, but I don't remember what it is. So we're gonna end here. Like I said, if I can get a bonus stream up this weekend, probably Sunday. I'll try and do it Sunday. And if not, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me, and thank you for blessing me with the streamer luck for the polls. Don't try this at home. I cannot guarantee the results will be the same. But my spirit is with you. Oh, Wooly asked, does half base stats include HP? And I believe it... Let's look real quick. It is not HP, I don't think. Let's see, how much does... It's not HP, because Macchiato, when I did it, I believe she had 3,000 HP. But it messed up some of the stats, because when she used her ult, she only got a really small shield. I don't remember what it was, but... So, I don't know if it's HP that gets halved, but... You also don't get the other bonuses, though, like the 30% damage reduction, which was kind of the bigger issue. So, but we'll try it again. I'll do a little more experimenting, and I'll get back to you next week with a much better answer. So everyone have a great weekend, and I will catch you guys later. See ya!